but what Trump did was worse. That's simple.
But that's not the best one. The best one is China. This came up. So now he goes to China, and I was with the head of Blackstone, which is the big deal, Steve Schwarzman. I said, Steve,
it's a big deal.
No, why? Who got that? Who did that? I said, Biden's done. Oh, well then, he says, maybe I should get involved. In other words, very political, right? I say, Steve, what happens when you come off a vice presidential plane, it's called Air Force Two, your father's with you, you walk into a room in China, and they give you a fund of $1.5 billion, you make hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars off that. And that's probably not all they get. They give me plenty more, I'm sure. We might never find out. And then they talk about me, and I didn't do anything. I don't know if I'm the most innocent person in the world. He would be somebody that you spare a lot of money to, but not Biden's son. So the whistleblower came out and said nothing. Said a couple of people told me he had a conversation with Ukraine. We're at a war. These people are sick. They're sick. And nobody's called it out like I do. I don't understand. People are afraid to call it out. They're afraid to say that the press is crooked. We have a crooked press. We have a dishonest media. So now they're devastated, but they'll always find something. I'm sure there'll be something they'll find in this report that will suit their eye. But basically...
And again, the thing is that I don't really get... I'm sorry, kind of went a little bit dull there, but what I really don't get is that how in the world did he think this was going to help him? Because, he was apparently stunned that once he released this transcript of him pretty much doing what everyone said was bad, he was like, yeah, this is going to clear me. I don't get it. The mind is just so warped at this point. It's kind of insane.
That person never saw the report, never saw the call, heard something, and decided that he or she, whoever the hell it is, sort of like almost a spy. I want to know who's the person that gave the whistleblower, who's the person that gave the whistleblower the information? Because that's close to a spy. You know what we used to do in the old days when we were smart, right? With spies and treason, right? We used to handle it a little differently than we do now. Now you have guys like little Adam Schiff defending you. Little Adam.
Yeah, so they're pretty much that's pretty much all he said there. When he returned from New York, he resumed his diatribe against the angry Democrats. Or he was very angry against the Democrats. There should be a way of stopping it, maybe legally through the courts. Well, pretty much the way you're going to stop it, Trump, is through the Senate. That's the only way you really can stop it, and it's a pretty good way, I would say. Republicans stayed in line largely behind Trump. Mitch McConnell called it laughable. Representative Kevin McCarthy, a Republican leader, complained that the whistleblower had no primary sources, even though the complaint makes clear the author spoke to numerous people with direct knowledge of the call. So he or she could probably call on those people to come testify if need be. Some Republicans sounded more cautious, though, because Will Hurd, a moderate Texas representative who announced he will not be running for re-election, wrote that the complaint was concerning and needed to be fully investigated. Yeah, it really is quite unprecedented times here. Speaker Nancy Pelosi, echoing the language of Watergate, accused the White House of engaging in a cover-up of the Ukraine affair, citing the whistleblower complaint that said the Trump administration officials worked to lock down all records of a call between President Trump and Ukraine's president. It's a cover-up, clean and simple. They knew it was wrong. They knew, as the whistleblower said, that they shouldn't be able to do it, and they still did anyway, and apparently, according to this guy, multiple times. So, yeah, that's pretty much what we know about the impeachment inquiry. And there's still, though, Jacob Wohl and Jack Berkman. If you remember them, they're the two lawyers who tried to accuse Pete Buttigieg and Robert Mueller both of sexual assault, both with hilarious results. So there's that. Also, I do want to kind of clarify what I was talking about before with the idea that, maybe Biden, there was something there to the Biden story. Again, it's going to be very, very tough to kind of get that out of the public because conservative media is going to say that, keep on saying it. But it seems to be very shaky, if not nothing there at all. Like the case against Joe Biden. It's already been investigated by Ukraine and their top guy there. I think the media should spend some time saying why it's not true instead of saying. I think if I were the media, if I were the editor of all media, I'd pretty much just say like, "Hey, we can't just dismiss it. That's going to lead to people thinking that we're kind of in the take for him. We have to say why it's not true." I think there's a difference between just dismissing it at hand and actually disproving it time and time again. And if you can't disprove it, I think you owe it to at least the idea of journalism, really, to just kind of continue to disprove it. So that's a pretty important thing to take into account there. Yeah, so that's pretty much what we're seeing right now with the kind of two sides of the coin, what the conservatives want to claim and what the Democrats want to claim about this. And yeah, I mean, it's pretty much just been an entire mess. A lot of back and forth, a lot of bad things for the White House, just like emailing their Ukraine talking points to the Democrats now. So again, there's really so much news to get out on top of because we haven't been on the air in a long time, really. And this kind of isn't really helping the fact that we just got dumped on here. So yeah, we're still shoveling out of what is effectively a snowstorm at this point of news, and we're trying to get you all of that for you. Hopefully, I'd say you pretty much know everything you need to know about all this stuff if you haven't been following everything. But yeah, so there is a little bit of a side angle to this about to do with Corey Lewandowski. He's been meeting with administration officials as part of talks to potentially spearhead the White House's impeachment team. He's coming back, folks, per CNN. He was axed by the Trump campaign, who reportedly got into a brawl with the then White House Chief of Staff John Kelly. He's now considering a run for New Hampshire Senate seat in 2020 and would lead the administration's strategy and messaging in the coming fight. So far, Trump has completely flubbed his response into the looming impeachment battle, reportedly spending the past few days in disbelief that his megabrain strategy of releasing a document that clearly incriminated him, in reference to the transcript of his call with the Ukrainian president, hadn't succeeded in quashing the case against you. I don't know how anyone could think that with a right mind. It's insane. If Lewandowski does, in fact, end up quarterbacking the president's defense squad, it's safe to assume, however, that bad things are already shaping up to be much, much worse. Like, however much the president was going to screw the pooch on his own, Mr. Lewandowski will screw the pooch pretty much even harder. So, to put it in somewhat disgusting terms, yeah, so everyone's just getting more unhinged is really what it feels like. If I had to sum up this news cycle, I would sum it up as the wheels are continuing to fall off. All right, let's talk now about something a little bit more fun, and that is Gabriel Sherman's crazy news story inside Fox News. So yeah, in public, Donald Trump's allies are putting on a brave face, repeating talking points, mostly staying on message. But in private, there are, this is not a long article, we can do this article, there are few who believe that the allegations leveled by an intelligence agency whistleblower that Trump abused American foreign policy to leverage Ukraine into investigating Joe Biden won't result in considerable damage, if not the complete unraveling of his presidency. I don't see how they don't impeach, a former West Wing official told me today. This could unwind very fast, and I mean in days, a prominent Republican said. And it's going to be interesting, because just because I'm reading this to you, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to happen. It doesn't mean that there's going to be a complete and utter just melting down of President Trump's whole situation here in the White House. But again, if Republicans are saying this, it means it really means something, I feel like. But it doesn't. Again, I am warning you, because I remember reading these pieces on the show years ago, or a year ago or so, about how, Fox News is freaking out about over Russia, and it didn't really mean anything. So I am keeping I'm keeping myself, and hopefully your hopes too, kept to a very low amount, because if this gets out of hand, and it very well could, if the Democrats screw things up, it pretty much, again, the disclaimer I want to attach with this article is this is not by any stretch of the imagination a slam dunk. So the White House is apparently said to have learned of the whistleblower's complaint even as it was moving through a process meant to offer protection. So it looks like, according to the New York Times, just out now, that they were trying to, that they learned about it ahead of time. They got some sort of heads up, even though the whistleblower was supposed to get offered protection through that time period, which is not good at all. And apparently the New York Times, actually, speaking of the devil, is out there releasing information about them. Apparently that the whistleblower works for the CIA and at one point was detailed to work for the Trump White House, which is technically, for the New York Times, something you really shouldn't be doing, because the whistleblower should be able to feel safe and protected, because there's a lot of people who want to do damage to that person, and New York Times is just not helping there. So not a good move there at all by the New York Times. So it's something they should definitely be reconsidering there. And another case for why the New York Times needs a public editor. And again, I swear, I have my phone open now. There's just new stuff coming in by the minute about this. This is a very, very fast developing story. And yeah, so we're definitely gonna keep it on this. We'll definitely fit a show in on Sunday. Working, of course, on a new series, as we know, new Uncultured on Friday night. So I mean, honestly, if there really is anything really worth talking about, we could talk about that on Uncultured. That's going to be Friday around 7:38. So come join us for that. But also, yeah, I do want to get into this Fox News story because it's going to be interesting. And this talks about really the Republicans as well. Trump's final bulwark is liable to be his first one, Fox News. Fox controls the flow of information, what facts are, whether allegations are to be believed, to huge swaths of his base and really of the country. And Republican senators, who will ultimately decide whether the president remains the president, are in turn exquisitely sensitive to the opinions of Trump's base. So it's a big deal. But even before the whistleblower's revelations, Trump was having something of a Trump identity crisis. Fox was having something of a Trump identity crisis, Gabe Sherman writes, and that bulwark has been wavering. In recent weeks, Trump has bashed Fox News on Twitter, taking particular issue lately with its polling, which, like other reputable polls, has shown the president to be under significant water, losing to many of the Democrats in the field. Trump's biggest booster seems to be having doubts of his own as well. This morning, Sean Hannity told friends the whistleblower's allegations are really bad. A person briefed on Hannity's conversation said. Hannity did not respond to a request for comment, though. According to 4 sources, Fox Corp CEO Lachlan Murdoch is already thinking of how to position the network for a post-Trump future. A person close to Lachlan told me that Fox News has been the highest-rated cable network for 17 years, and their success has never depended on any one administration. Yeah, like Fox News, I think they will be fine after Trump is no more. I think that's probably a pretty safe thing to say. And inside Fox News here, this is when it gets interesting. Tensions over Trump are becoming harder to contain as a long-running Cold War between the network's news and opinion sides turns hot. Fox has often taken a nothing-to-see-here approach to Trump scandals, but impeachment is a different animal. It's a management bedlam, Fox staffer said to Sherman. This massive thing happened and no one even knows how to cover it. The schism was evident this week as a feud erupted between afternoon anchor Shep Smith and primetime host Tucker Carlson. It started Tuesday as Fox News legal analyst Judge Andrew Napolitano told Smith on air that Trump had committed a crime by pressuring Ukraine's president to get dirt on Biden. That night, Carlson brought on former Trump lawyer Joe DiGenova, who called Napolitano a fool for claiming that Trump broke the law. So Smith lashed back, calling Carlson repugnant for not defending Napolitano on air, which is a little harsh. But Shep Smith, there's one thing about him, he says what he believes. Also, by the way, DeGenova calling Napolitano first, pretty much stating objective fact. Like, that's a little stupid. But again, both sides... let's be honest. Shep Smith is right on this one. Joe DeGenova is incredibly partisan. Just listen to him talk. Seeking to quell the internecine strife before it carried on to a third day, Fox News CEO Suzanne Scott and President Jay Wallace communicated to Shep Smith this morning to stop attacking Carlson. A person briefed on the conversation said, they said if he does it again, he is off the air. Fox News spokesperson Irina Briganti denied this, but we'll say. The alternate referee for this fight will be Lachlan Murdoch. In recent months, Rupert's oldest son has been holding strategy conversations with Fox executives and anchors about how Fox News should prepare for life after Trump. Among the powerful voices advising Lachlan that Fox should decisively break with the president is former House Speaker Paul Ryan, who joined the Fox board in March. Paul is embarrassed about Trump and now has the power to do something about it. An executive who's spoken with Ryan told me. Ryan did not return a request for comment, but a person more sympathetic